Hey there, am I live? Hey there, gorgeous. This is an interesting view here, guys. Um, wow. Hi, guys. My name is Melissa, and I'm also known as the Taropist. And I am trying to go live through this YouTube app instead of through my StreamYard app. And bear with me while I get used to this weird view. Again, guys, anything, I didn't say this already, but anything you ever would need to know about myself or the channel, you can find either in the description box below the channel description, also known as the About section, or you can always check out my community tab. Today, guys, we are just going to do a little whatever comes out reading for the collective audience. Okay. I'm not going to go through all the signs or anything like that. Just see what messages come through. And if anybody ends up joining the live, I will definitely take questions at the end of the reading. Let's see what else. I think that's about it, guys. Personal readings, anything you would need to know about that is in the description box below. You can check out my website, of course, which is www.theterapist.com. And let's get into this reading. All right, we're going to start out with these Moon Magic Oracle cards. Then we will get some tarot, and then we'll close the reading with the Moonology deck. Does this feel crooked to you guys? It feels crooked to me. Okay, let's see what we get here, guys. Okay, so we have, I choose to take a higher perspective and widen my views. I love that. I see the gateway is open and the pathway is clear. My journey begins. I'm getting like the Hanged Man energy with these two. I'm getting like Hanged Man into the Fool card. Okay. And it is talking about being able to kind of see things from a higher perspective or a more compassionate or understanding perspective is really going to open up the floodgates for you, is what I'm getting here. A whole new world is available to you. The Fool card can be a card of, well, it's a brand new start. So it's the Fool card is about the beginning of the tarot journey. It's the first major arcana in the tarot, and it does talk about the journey ahead or starting the journey through the tarot. I am honest with myself and others. Something about, I do feel somebody is opening their mind to the reality that we may have been taught how to think. Okay, here as a collective, and certainly in the US, but I think everywhere, it is an actual like psychological intention that governing bodies do. It's like an intentional thing that they are doing. I am gonna say I don't want to say maliciously even, but um so in order to keep order is the energy that is coming through here. And then I want to say that people are starting to wake up to that reality, but then also as you wake up, you recognize that um, there might be something beneficial about that order, okay, or something like that. Let me get more. Of course, the awakening process has been very interesting for me, or I think for many people, because originally when you start waking up, you want there to be freedom for all, as far as you want everybody to be able to do whatever they want to do until you realize what people will do when they're given that sort of freedom, okay? And then it's like, woo, maybe we could use a little authority, okay? I don't know what this really is, but let's find out more. We got a couple cards, the Five of Swords here, and ooh, owie, the Ten of Swords. Oh, because I am getting like this a feeling of like betrayal from this comes through an awakening. I guess this is about awakening, guys. So welcome in. If you are new around here, again, I'm the Taropist, and we are doing a little collective whatever comes out reading. We will take questions at the end of the live if anybody is here for that. You can certainly pop your questions in the live at any time in the live chat. But this is about the feeling, the initial feeling when you initially start to awaken and you start to feel like betrayed by everyone, really, because you're like, what do you mean everything I thought I knew isn't true? And of course, some of the things that we're conditioned to believe are, but when you start awakening and you start to see this amount of things that we've been lied to about or indoctrinated on, it's very, it makes everything, well, almost causes paranoia because you recognize just how slickly it has been misportrayed to you. Again, the realities of the world. Okay, so there's something here, by the way, the four of wands, it's at the bottom of this deck, and it is about this completion of this sort of phase in the awakening process where maybe you feel so betrayed, you start kind of sabotaging everything in your life. You start sabotaging relationships. First of all, I think, hey, Jeremiah. Yes, something, well, it is certainly, I don't know what the right word is. Good morning. Um, so anyways, the awakening process is, there's so many phases to it, and you can probably Google, and every person who's awakened probably has different phases that they've gone through and thinks, that their way is the way, that the only way to awaken or something like that. But I do remember this kind of shocking awareness, or I can't explain what this energy is that's coming through, but it's all very shocking initially, and then because of your awareness that people can be very deceiving or deceitful, it starts to make you maybe doubt, well, especially if it's people that you've trusted or put your faith into, maybe even parents or things like that, people that have raised you, teachers, people that you had a lot of respect for. And again, I'm going to say that these people didn't necessarily maliciously mislead you. These people have been misled. And then there are people who intentionally mislead people. I want to say that the government does have a very large group of people who have mastered psychology and how to kind of manipulate the masses. Okay, that isn't unintentional. There is a lot of intention behind some of it. I do want to say on top of that that I think some of that was intended to protect us from ourselves or each other. Okay, but it does feel very it just feels very betray. It feels like betrayal when you first come out of that fog or out of the clouds. And then I'm going to say here that there is something about you maybe sabotaging things that really could help elevate you, or sabotaging relationships or connections. I'm even getting like something about your home here. You could be leaving a marriage, or let me get more. I'm going to get some of these. I should get more tarot. I feel like I should get more tarot here. Expect powerful change, it says. So maybe you are leaving a marriage, and maybe you did find out somebody in a marriage was betraying you, by the way. That does seem prevalent here. And then there is an energy, or maybe you left a marriage and now you feel like there's nobody you can trust because the person that you were with was and by the way, this doesn't have to be a marriage. This could be you left your parents' home and feeling very betrayed and misled. And I want to say that, by the way, whoever I'm speaking to here, there was some intentional betrayal or intentional deceit here. I can feel now. And then the overall energy of, it's like once you start to awaken to the kind of misinformation we've been provided by the world, right? It's a little easier to catch on to misinformation or misleading or manipulation coming from others. Something about, I don't know what it's healing something. Let me see what this says because I didn't read it. The energy is gaining momentum here, and expect powerful change. I am getting the death card on that, by the way, that you're putting a rest to all things that had no meaning or little to no meaning, or were on a more surface level or superficial basis here, including for some of you an actual marriage that you realized was not, it was, I want to say, not necessarily you were innocent in this, right? Because I think the two of you came into a marriage, if this is for you, um, under the impression that this was what we needed to do to kind of fit in with this role that we were told we need to play, okay, or something like that. I do feel like there could have been actual betrayal, so some sort of dishonesty or infidelity is actually coming through here. And it doesn't seem like something that you haven't found out about. Whoever I'm speaking to, this is something that you've already become aware of. And again, I'm getting it like the Fool card over here. I was saying there's a higher perspective being gained just about love in general, because again, a lot of us have this idea of love before we do awaken to the realities of the world and are able to see things and think more critically and think for ourselves because we've been trained. And I was just watching something by Jordan B. Peterson. I'll try to share it with you all if I can remember to after I get off the live here. But it was just talking about the school systems and how this was an actual intentional set up for our children or for us because we were once children as well and gone through the school system. And while I get a lot of downloads on this, I never heard anybody speak about the actual facts that go along with it or the proof that goes along with the idea that they were genuinely trying to kind of brainwash us into being good workers. Um, Now, was this for money or was this for our own safety? Right. So there's a lot, of course, just because we can understand somebody's intention doesn't make it right. And I think there's something very wrong with the system that legally obligates our children to go through what some children go through and endure in the school systems. Okay. And then I have even spoken to them. Well, if you're not going to protect them like I do when they're in my home, then how can you possibly legally obligate my children to be here? Um, so it does feel like there's been some sort of, well, I feel like that's where the betrayal started for you. And you might be seeing that maybe you have children, kind of betrayal happening to your own children now, and watching their little spirits die when they enter the school system is one of the hardest things you'll ever do as a parent. And then if you're a single parent like myself, there's really it's so hard. Of course it's possible, and the only real prison here is the one in our minds, but trying to exit the kind of the society that we all know and love is a lot harder when you don't have like a financial backing to do what you think is right for your children's well-being, for your own well-being and things like that. Again, I do feel like somebody here is leaving a marriage and feels like they can't give their children what they need on their own or would like to provide for their children on their own. And the divine is saying that is, believe it or not, in your mind, more, what you can accomplish, you'll be surprised by, or how much you can accomplish when you stop letting your mind stop you from kind of pursuing things that will be for your better, for your best interest. Um, it just feels so powerful, whatever this is. Whoever I'm talking to is definitely going through the awakening or the initial awakening process. And things are maybe, by the way, this could be gone on for 5, 10 years. The amount of things that you start to see is kind of overwhelming and um, can be terrifying. And then I do believe that these huge tragedies that occur, I want to say school, when an adult decides to come into a school system and hurt several children, that person has a psychological wound from the being forced into a school system that did not take care of them mentally, emotionally, psychologically. So that's what I'm getting here. And does that make that action right? Absolutely not. Right. But let's talk about why it's actually happening, why these things are happening, and how we can avoid them. It's not by locking up everybody who has mental illness. It's about stop psychologically abusing people until they are mentally ill. Okay. Something about that. And I do feel like, again, whoever I'm speaking to is just a waking up to all of these awarenesses. And it doesn't stop there. It's like once you can see the first little glitch in the matrix, it's like they all start to become more clear. And it does feel like you're going through a lot of heavy stuff, but it does look like ultimately what you're really doing, while it feels like you might be losing everything, you're actually upgrading or elevating your frequency so that you can attain the things, the freedom, the lifestyle that you wish to have for your children if you have them, the lifestyle that you wish to achieve for yourself if you don't. And this is a frequency update. Okay. This is the minor arcana version of the world card, and it is about leveling up or going to the next level here. And this next level of awareness comes with a new frequency, which will allow better and brighter things to come into your reality. Okay, it will allow you to manifest the things that you've maybe envisioned in your past but couldn't quite reach or accomplish or attain or obtain, because you were stuck in a frequency. I want to say whoever you were living with. Again, this could be parents or a spouse or even roommates, or this could be a workspace or something that kept you in a lower. And just in general, the matrix keeps people in a lower frequency in a fear-based society or a fear-based belief. So that keeps us in a lower frequency so that we can achieve the things that we were actually meant to achieve in this lifetime or set here to achieve. This awakening process that you're going through, it can be daunting, it can be terrifying, it can be painful. But what you're set to accomplish in your future and the amount of people that you're going to help relieve or release themselves from the matrix is going to be worth it. Okay. On that note, guys, I will take questions if anybody has any, but I am going to leave the reading there. And Jeremiah, always good to see you. And I am going to rock and roll. I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next reading. Have a lovely evening, day, morning, whatever it is. Have a good weekend. See you soon. I don't know how to end this live, guys. There we go.